Have you ever caught your reflection in a dimly lit bar mirror, wondering why you're back, clutching a drink that promised escape, but delivered only a foggy haze? That's where my story kicks off. Or at least that's how it felt on that pivotal Thursday night in downtown Chicago back in 2023. My name's Jordan, and I'm your narrator for this tale. I'm no neuroscientist or sobriety coach. I'm just a guy who scaled the corporate ladder in tech sales, only to find it slicked with whiskey and regret. This isn't a lecture. It's the raw, unfiltered story of what went down at work, how alcohol hijacked my brain's reward system, and the metaphor that finally broke the cycle. If you're watching this on YouTube, grab a coffee or water because we're diving deep. Picture this. I'm 32, a senior account executive at a mid-sized SaaS company. We sold enterprise software to big corporations, CRM tools that promised to streamline sales pipelines and customer data. The job was a pressure cooker, quarterly targets looming like storm clouds, endless Zoom calls with demanding clients, and a boss named Karen who micromanaged like it was her calling. But here's the twist. Our company culture revolved around alcohol. Happy hours every Friday, client dinners soaked in wine, and team-building retreats where beer pong passed as networking. It wasn't mandatory, but it was expected. Skip the bar after a big win, and you'd get side-eye, like you weren't a team player. I slid into it easily. Growing up in a small Midwest town, alcohol was just part of life. Beers at barbecues, wine at weddings. When I moved to the city for this job, it escalated. My first week, the team took me out to celebrate a closed deal. Tequila shots flowed, and suddenly I felt untouchable. The stress of learning the ropes dissolved in that warm buzz. "This is how we unwind," my coworker said, clinking glasses. "Keeps the dopamine flowing." I laughed it off then, but looking back, he was spot on, though he didn't know how literal that was. A year later, I was hitting targets, but the grind was grinding me down. Mornings brought headaches, afternoons dragged with foggy focus, and evenings, they became a ritual. After wrapping calls around 6 p.m., I'd hit the office lounge. Yep, we had a stocked bar. Or meet the team at Murphy's Pub nearby. A couple of IPAs to decompress, maybe a whiskey neat if the day was brutal. It wasn't blackout drinking, it was social, even professional. Clients loved it too. I'd seal deals over martinis, laughing at bad jokes while alcohol smoothed the tension. But something shifted during a brutal quarter. We were chasing a massive contract with a Fortune 500 company, and the pressure was relentless. Karen piled on meetings, and my inbox was a battlefield. One evening, after a client call tanked, they balked at our pricing, I joined Mike and the crew at the pub. Just one, I told myself. But one became 3, then shots. The buzz hit like a tidal wave. Relaxation, worries fading, and suddenly I was the life of the party, cracking jokes about Karen's endless emails. That night, I felt euphoric, like I'd cracked the code to beat stress. Why worry when a drink could flip the switch?
Here's where the science comes in. And don't worry, this isn't a dry lecture. It's the key to what was happening in my head. Alcohol doesn't just make you tipsy, it hijacks your brain's reward system. Imagine your brain as a bustling city, with dopamine as the currency of happiness. Dopamine, a neurotransmitter, lights up when you feel pleasure. Great meal, dopamine surge. Big promotion, more dopamine. It's what motivates us, makes life rewarding. When you drink, ethanol, the active ingredient in alcohol, crashes the party. It boosts GABA, your brain's main inhibitory neurotransmitter. GABA's like a chill pill, slowing things down for that relaxed, sedative vibe. Meanwhile, alcohol dials back glutamate, the excitatory neurotransmitter that keeps you alert. Less glutamate equals less anxiety, more calm. But the real trap is in the mesolimbic pathway, your brain's reward highway. Alcohol stimulates dopamine neurons there, triggering a release like you get from food, sex, or social media likes. That's why that first sip feels so good. Euphoria, lightness, that elevated mood where everything's funnier, easier. For me, those pub nights were dopamine on demand. After a stressful day closing deals, alcohol was instant gratification. No need for a gym session or meditation, just pour and feel the rush. But here's the catch, and this crept up on me. Regular drinking desensitizes your dopamine receptors. It's like turning down the volume on your favorite song. Eventually, you need to crank it to feel anything. Everyday pleasures, a good book, a walk, nailing a presentation, start feeling dull. You chase the high with more alcohol and the loop tightens. I didn't see it at first. By mid-2023, things got strange. Work wins felt empty. I'd close a deal, high-five the team, but the thrill fizzled fast. Instead of savoring the win, I'd think, time for a drink to feel it. Mornings got rougher. Anxiety spiked, focus slipped. I'd chug coffee to cope, but it was like bailing at a sinking ship with a spoon. Then came the incident that shook me, a work-related disaster that still stings. It was Q3 crunch time. We were hosting a client event at a swanky rooftop bar, city skyline sparkling, jazz humming, cocktails flowing. I was the point person, schmoozing execs from that big client. Nerves were high. This deal could make my year. To steady myself, I grabbed a gin and tonic, then another. The alcohol kicked in. Relaxation, charm on overdrive. I was killing it. Jokes landing, rapport building. But as the night wore on, drinks piled up. By 10 p.m., I was slurring pitches, laughing too loud. One exec raised an eyebrow, another bailed early.
Morning brought chaos. I woke up head pounding, phone buzzing. Karen, call me now. I'd promised impossible discounts in my haze, and a colleague had to clean up my mess. The client walked, citing unprofessionalism. I stared at my laptop, emails blurring through hangover fog. Deal? Dead. Bonus? Slashed. Worse was the void. No dopamine from the night, just regret and a brain like sludge. Sipping black coffee, I spiraled. Why was this a pattern? I wasn't an alcoholic by stereotype. No DUIs, no rock bottom yet. But work was slipping. Missed deadlines, cranky meetings. Personal life too. Canceled dates from fog, drifting friends because evenings were bar-bound. Then on a commute, I caught a podcast. A neuroscientist broke down addiction, and it hit hard. They explained alcohol's dopamine spike is artificial, borrowed joy. It overrides your natural reward system, making real life dull. Over time, receptors downregulate. Fewer respond, so you need more booze for the same effect. It's tolerance, but cellular. Withdrawal brings anxiety because your baseline dopamine tanks. No wonder I felt off without a drink. My brain expected alcohol as the norm. The metaphor that stuck, alcohol is happiness on credit. You borrow from life's bank, feeling that instant euphoria, but payback has interest. The older you get, the steeper the rate. In your 20s, it's a mild hangover, a foggy day. By your 30s, it compounds. Health dips, relationships strain, career stalls. It's a loan shark deal. That first drink, low interest teaser. Keep borrowing and you're paying dearly. Liver issues, mental health crashes, lost chances. That metaphor reframed my work story. My job demanded performance, but alcohol was a quick loan for confidence. Borrow during client dinners, repay with botched deals. Borrow for team bonding, repay with eroded trust. At 32, the interest was piling up. Blood pressure climbing, sleep wrecked, creativity dulled. I pictured life's bank tallying every buzz against future vitality. Older you get, higher the stakes. Recovery slows, regrets stack. It crystallized on a walk along Lake Michigan, wind stinging my face. I replayed the rooftop fiasco, clinking glasses, fake laughs, morning shame. Sustainable? No way. I decided to test it. Go dry for a month. Week 1 was hell. Irritability, shaky sleep. But by week 2, clarity crept in. Mornings sharpened, ideas flowed in meetings. I closed a deal sober, and the win felt real. Dopamine from achievement,
not liquid crutches. Work changed. Without the haze, I tackled problems directly. Karen noticed, "Jordan, you're killing it." I told Mike over coffee, not beer, and he admitted similar struggles. We started sober happy hours, mocktails, real talks. Clients? I sealed deals with clear pitches, genuine rapport. No more borrowed highs. I earned them.
Let's dig deeper into the science because it empowered me. The mesolimbic system, ventral tegmental area to nucleus accumbens, is the epicenter. Alcohol boosts dopamine there, mimicking natural rewards. Studies show chronic use cuts D2 receptor density, your pleasure sensors, thin out. A 2019 neuropsychopharmacology review noted this leads to anhedonia, joyless daily life. That's why sobriety feels flat at first. You're in deficit. But neuroplasticity works. Abstinence rebuilds sensitivity. Months in, joy's returned, savoring espresso, crushing workouts, nailing pitches. The metaphor evolved. Youth has low rates, quick recovery. Age hikes them. Hangovers linger, dependency risks soar. CDC data shows heavy drinking peaks at 25 to 34, but consequences hit harder later. For workers like me, alcohol masks burnout, but fuels it long term. A Harvard study tied moderate drinking to cognitive decline. Imagine that in high-stakes jobs. My turning point? A work trip to San Francisco. Instead of bar hopping, I hiked Muir Woods. Redwoods, crisp air, no buzz needed. Back home, I ditched the pub routine. Productivity soared, I got promoted. Relationships mended. Dates got meaningful. Friends reconnected. If this hits home, here's your action step. Check your credits. Track how alcohol borrows from tomorrow's joy. Try a dry week. Note the shifts. Read This Naked Mind by Annie Grace. Or journal. What natural rewards are you missing? Work cultures push drinking, but you can rewrite the script. I did, and life's richer. Thanks for joining me on this journey. If it resonated, hit like, subscribe, share your story below. True rewards aren't borrowed, they're built. See you next time.